Hi class, what we're going to do today is we're going to look at the second part of chapter 4, problem 13. I'm sharing my screen with you from Cengage. We're on chapter 4, problem 13B, part 2. And this is a continuation of the previous video that I did. That was part 1. We have 6 employees and we are completing W-2 forms for those employees. In the last video, we completed 4 of them. And then in this video, we need to complete the remaining the employees' W-2 forms. So we're going to start with Carly Christensen, and we're doing basically the same thing that we did before. Make sure you get on the correct W-2 form. This one is for Carly Christian. And what we need to do is calculate her wages, tips, and other compensation to put in box number 1. Carly is married, filing jointly. She makes $780 per week, and she has some union dues withheld. Notice she is not a part of the 401k plan on this problem. So this makes it kind of simple. We're going to take the $780 and we're going to multiply that by 52 weeks in a year to get the total wages for the year that would go in box number 1 for Carly. So this is $40,560. I'm going to check my work. And that's the correct amount. What we would need to do next is find the federal income tax that was withheld for the entire year. So we need to remember that Carly is married, filing jointly. She makes $780 per week. So we're going to go to our wage bracket tables. We're going to go to tax table B, which is the wage bracket method. I'm going to enlarge this so we can see what we're doing. We've got to look for her salary. And again, I'm going to go back to it because I can't remember off the top of my head what it was. $780 per week. And there was no 401k plan we had to deal with. So it's just based on $780. So we're going to pull up $780. We're going to look, we'll pull up the table. We're going to look at the brackets where we can get to $780. And the first table didn't go that far. When I scroll down to the bottom, so I'm going to scroll back up to the top. I'm going to look for what would fit as far as $780. It would be in the bracket of at least $780, but not more than $790. Notice there's $780 in the bracket up above, but you always go to the next one to get the larger amount of taxes that would be withheld for this person. It's $31 a week. We got to multiply that $31 times 52, and that will give us 1,610 as the total amount of federal income tax withheld. And again, I'm going to check my work. All right, looks like I've put something in wrong. Yep, it's 1,612. So I multiplied the one amount for the federal withholding tax, and then you multiply it by 52 weeks, and that'll give you $1,612. Okay. So the next part would be to record the Social Security wages. Since we didn't have any 401k plan that was taken out for this particular person, all of it is subject to the Social Security tax and would be. So 780 times 52, the same amount that you put in for box number 1 would go in the Social Security wages. The Social Security tax withheld is given. So I'm just going to copy and paste that into the block. And then we'll go to Medicare wages and tips. It'll be the same thing, 40,560, same as the Social Security wages. The Medicare tax was given. I'm just going to copy and paste that in. And then there was no Social Security tips, no allocated tips. And this person didn't have any dependent care benefits that were taken out. She only had union dues that were withheld. And we also have to take out her state taxes. We haven't done that yet. And then we have to record that she had some state unemployment taxes. So basically we're skipping the box for number 10. And this is not a non-qualified plan. And since we didn't have anything that we took out for her, she didn't have any retirement at all, just putting none for these items in box 12. And then over here where we got others, she did have some union dues withheld, and she also had some state unemployment taxes withheld. And the amounts were $102 and $24.44. Right, here's the $24.44, and there's the 102. So that's where that comes from. Then we're going to copy the state income tax that we withheld, copy it and paste it to the bottom of the W-2 form in box 17. The state wages are going to be the same as the wages for Medicare and Social Security. Those are the same. The amount was 40,560. The local wages would be the same thing, 40,560. The local income tax, they figured for you. Make sure you get on the correct person. Oops. Copy and paste that in. And then I'm going to check my work just to make sure that I entered everything in that was needed for the W-2 form. I see some green check marks, so that's a good sign. So we need to work on the next employee, which was Zaina. And she is single. She makes $790 per week. And the only thing that's weird about her is she's got some 401k that they're deducting of $50. And she also has some educational assistance payments that the company's paying for. It's a job requirement. And so we're going to show that in other, because that's where that would go. For Zaina, $790 per week. You put in your calculator, $790, subtract $50 a week from that. and that will give you $740. And that $740 would be multiplied by 52, and that's what goes in box number 1, 38,480. So I took for Zana, excuse me, right here, $790 minus $50, which is $740 times 52 is going to give you 38,480. For box number 2, we're going to look at the federal income tax. And so for this person, we need to know that she's single. We need to know that she had $50 taken out of her weekly wages of $790. So the weekly amount that is taxable is $740. And so we're going to look up the FIT on $740. So you want to go to your table. You got to remember she's single. $740. And the 740 at least, but not more than 750 is what I would choose. She is single, so you got to go all the way over to where they are calculating for single. And it's $57 right here. So $57 is for 1 week. We got to multiply that by 52. 57 times 52 is $29.64. That's the total amount of federal taxes that would be withheld. I'm going to check my work just to make sure I've done the math correctly. And make sure you're on the right W-2. And it looks like we've done it right. So we're going to go on and look at the Social Security wages. Now the Social Security wages for Zana will be different because she had $50 taken out of her 401k plan. And so what we need to do is we need to take the $790 and we will multiply $790 by 52 weeks. And that should give us 41,080. Check my work just to make sure my math's right. And then the Social Security tax withheld was given. So we'll copy that and paste it. The Medicare wages will be the same as the Social Security wages. The Medicare tax was calculated for you. And then we will have our Social Security tips of nothing. We didn't have any Social Security tips, allocated tips or nothing. This person did not have any dependent care expenses taken out, so that will be 0. 0 in the non-qualified plan. And this person is participating in a retirement plan. And the code is from your table. It should be code D. And then the amount of the 401k that was withheld for the entire year. You take $50 a week and multiply it by 52, and that'll give you $2,600. And the rest of these for 12 is 0. And then for the other, this person had some educational assistance payments that were gone in other of $675, and the state unemployment tax withheld of $24.44, excuse me. So that would be this one. All right, and then you had your state wages and tips. State wages, same as your Social Security wages, 41,080. State income tax that was withheld is given. Local wages will be the same as the state wages. And your local income tax was given, so you copy it and paste it. And then I'm going to check my work. Looks like we've got everything correct on the W-2 forms. Those were the last two W-2 forms. The next part they want you to do is what we call a W-3 form, and that would be filled out by the employer and sent to the IRS stating the amount of wages that was withheld. And so in B right here, you're going to have to put in the kind of payer you are. You pay 941 taxes. For the kind of employer, none of these apply. You're not a state or local government or a nonprofit organization. And we're not a sick pay, third-party sick pay, so we put no there. The total number of W-2 forms would be equal to the total number of employees. And for this problem, it was 6 employees that we worked with. And right here, what we've got to do is you got to go back to the previous problem, add up all of box number 1 in the previous problem. Remember that we did the W-2 forms for Randy Kellison, Vince Roper, and Murray Rodson, as well as Frank Kitt in the last problem. So you add up all of the employees' pay for box number 1, or wages for box number 1. You add up all of them from all of your employees' W-2 forms. So this comes from the last problem that you had to do, because this problem had 2 parts to it. So you got to go to part 1, pick up all the wages that you calculated in part 1, and add the wages that you just calculated in part 2 to those. So there's a total of 6 employees. You got to add up all your wages and they go here. The same is true for the rest of these boxes. Now, I'm not going to take the time to go back and add each one of them up. I think you can do that. But you're reporting the total wages that you recorded in box number 1 for all of the individual employees, add them all together from their W-2 forms, and that will give you the amount that goes here. And you do the same thing for the rest of these items. You're just adding up what you had on the W-2 forms all the way down and doing exactly, just adding them up, add them all up. They all come from the W-2 forms. And so I wanted to shorten this video because I know the last one's kind of long. And quite frankly, I'm getting tired. So we need to go ahead and add up all your W-2 box number 1 and put them here. Add up all your W-2 box number 2 and put them here. In other words, you do that for every single one of these. And that's all there is to that. That's a W-3 form that has to be transmitted to the IRS to let them know what you made in wages, so that when you file your income tax return, they'll have something to match it up with. And that's all I'm going to say today. So I'll see you again next time. Bye-bye.